Hey everyone, welcome back to another AOS video. It's me, Will, CEO and current director of Advertise Your Server. We're all about building up tools and products to help grow online communities, especially on Discord. I love to be able to work with smaller communities, working to grow them up, building and facilitating a sense of, community and group and team, and it's great fun. And, if you don't run a community, I highly recommend you get involved in the online communities. Interact with like-minded people. It's a great way to make friends, build connections. It gives you lifelong skills, especially, if you build a community. It's a bit like running a business, it's a bit like leading a team. What are we actually talking about in this video? We're going to be looking at community design and a specific topic about how community growth is really impacted by community design. If you have a crappy design, it's going to have a crappy outcome. So what is community design? It's essentially how your community looks to a normal member. It's how the server on Discord, for example, how it's laid out, how the roles are laid out, the colors, the categories used, if you have emotes in your channel name or not, the events at the top of your server, if you use the new welcome feature on Discord, the home feature, that's all community design essentially. It's also the server icon, banners, etc. When a new member joins your server, everyone reads top to bottom. It's the same when it comes to digital marketing. If it's hard to work out where to go in a server, people will also leave. If it's a mess, if there's channels everywhere, if there's no concise, it's also like this with permissions. If you can talk in the welcome channel well, that's not too good if it's meant to be just for information. And that's going to lead to a poorer member outcome. How does it impact the member experience? As I just said, when people join your server, they look top to bottom. So they read the channels from top to bottom, they look at the messages from top to bottom, they look at the member list from top to bottom. So it's really important to have what you want people to see very first at the top of your server. In AOS, we have the information channel at the very top of the server. These are really the key channels that we want people to look at. Let me just switch to Discord real quick. Okay, one other thing I want to really quickly is this bluish purple banner at the very top. It basically means that I'm viewing the server from someone who just has no roles at all. This is a great way, especially if you have a lot of admin channels and mod channels and hidden channels. To do this, I'll just disable. You can go settings, roles, go to default permissions, right click that, then view server as well. How to use the server. Even a get roles channel is important. Then we have our updates and things down here. Sponsorships, you probably won't have that in your server, but it's just a way we bring income to help grow our services, grow our products and things, and help grow your servers. Then we move on to the actual events and giveaways. So this is not as important as the main stuff up here, but as we go down here, we get into more of the community side of things. Going on from down there, we have the actual chat channels. Then continuing on, we go down further and further until we get to the actual advertising channels. Advertising channels, the only reason we put them down all that way is because there's so many of them, and then if we put that up here, these channels will get lost and no one would ever use them. So it's also a matter of, making sure you have the smaller categories at the top and really just getting that mix right. If we move over to our members list, it's the same thing here, most important down to bottom. So we have our support bot at the very top, because when people need help, they may be a bit lost about where to go. So it's like, we'll put the support bot at the very top and we give very clear instructions on how to use it. Then public bots, so these are bots people can invite to their server. Then we move down to a team. Teams actually get a new concept at AOS. It's essentially the core team behind AOS. So it's the people who make a lot of the big decisions and do a lot of the marketing, finance, growth of AOS and our services. Then we move on to our moderators who aren't here online at the moment, but that's our helpers, junior mods and senior mods. So people who look after the server and do an awesome job at keeping it safe. Then our crew members who do a lot of the heavy work. So we move into recognizing, the most active members in our server. Our regulars, they're the people who, talk the most. Once you get to a certain level, I think it's like 25 or something, you get the regulars on. It's a great way to reward our members and to show them, these are the people who know what they're talking about. They're reputable in the server. They're a big part of who we are as a community. Then we go on to our paid members. So this is a way to encourage people to subscribe and also recognize their contribution they're making to AOS. Then nitro boosters, and then we go into the kind of more partners. So big partners here, certified server owners, and then more level roles until we get to the very bottom. So community design, it's very, very important to make sure that how your server looks. So if we look at this server, for example, this is one of the servers we've worked with before. It's not all that bad, but there are a few things on the side here that can be fixed up. One thing I don't recommend you do is you do server stats, because you have to remember with channels, it's essentially channel real estate. The more channels you have, the less, the more complex it gets. So you want to be really careful with which channels you have. So I don't recommend doing a server like members or anything like that. Yeah, so this could all be combined here essentially. Then we get into kind of community and support, and it's just a bit all over the place. I like to keep community stuff all together and then separate the other stuff, but it's really up to personal preference. So like here, they decide, we're going to do NFTs in its own section, then we'll go down to support, and then we'll go into more community stuff. So sometimes your community stuff can be split up into priorities. So you can have like your general chat at the top, then have other sections, and then go down to more like specific general categories. One other thing we also do at AOS is that we have a community role, which essentially hides a lot of the channels that aren't used by people who don't want to interact with the community, and it essentially hides them just to make the community experience a lot easier. If I go here and go community to add the community role, then we'll see a whole lot more channels start appearing. So like such as Starboard, Question of the Day, Arts and Food, Counting, stuff like that. That's all. With that being said, community design, you got to think about it from the perspective of your members. You got to think, what do I want them to see first? What do I want them to look at? What do I want them to read? Don't just have a rules channel. Have an information channel, because otherwise people don't understand what your community is about, how it works, what the different channels are for. It's easy. The information to know about your server is easy to access and easy to understand. I hope this video helps you grow your server. As always, make sure you like, subscribe. Also, updates from AOS, and don't forget to leave what you think in the comments below. Be sure to let me know how you organize your server and what you think the best way to organize your server is. Good luck with the community, and I'll see you around.